On this video, we're going to explore the topic of autistic inertia. I'll break down what it is and how you can manage autistic inertia in your daily life. So let's go. Welcome, my friend. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. I'm Orion Kelly, that autistic guy. I'm all about helping you raise your level of understanding, acceptance, and appreciation of the autistic community. So if that sounds like something you'd be interested in, I would highly recommend you go and check out my YouTube channels. There's this YouTube channel with all my content, Orion Kelly, that autistic guy, and my purpose-built, dedicated podcast channel, Orion Kelly Podcast. Yep, I'm talking video podcasts and nothing but video podcasts. Let's talk about autistic inertia and some strategies to manage it in your daily life. But first, what is autistic inertia? Okay, let's break it down. As you may know, a dude called Sir Isaac Newton proposed 3 laws of motion. The first of which is the law of inertia. Simply put, an object in motion will remain in motion and an object at rest will remain at rest unless acted upon by an external force. In a nutshell, that's the law of inertia. Quick example, let's say there's an object in space. Theoretically, it will continue to move in a straight line through space unless it's affected by the gravitational pull of another planet, body, or celestial being. There's the groundwork. Now let's talk about it in the context of autism. Autistic inertia is legitimate, it's real, and in fact, it's a common challenge for autistic people. So with the idea of Sir Isaac Newton's law of inertia, with regards to his laws of motion, let's break it down in the context of autism. So autistic inertia is, well, in essence, a lack of motivation, a lack of interest or engagement in activities, difficulty initiating or completing tasks, and broadly speaking, a general lack of energy or motivation really for anything. That's autistic inertia. Looking at that description through the lens of Newton's law of inertia. Okay, so then therefore that means, by the sounds of those descriptions at least, that means that there are common challenges where autistic people are at rest and they remain at rest because they aren't impacted or affected by another force. And for those wondering, well, what do you mean? Like, how does this actually affect you? Honestly, autistic inertia can have a significant impact on your ability to thrive and just your overall quality of life. If you can't function, you can't thrive. If you can't function, you can't really live your daily life. That's autistic inertia. Achieving your own personal goals, participating in the activities of daily life, be that with your friends or family or work colleagues or whatever, well, they're things that people as a rule want to achieve, including autistic people. Not being able to achieve your personal goals, not being able to participate in these daily activities is a significant challenge and is one of the clear impacts of autistic inertia. So when we talk about motivation, what do you mean, Orion? Good question. I can answer that because I'm the only person talking in this video. So this lack of motivation, autistic inertia, can range from a difficulty in simply starting tasks, right through to a complete disinterest in activities that actually bring you joy, or at least once brought you joy. Complete disinterest in activities that bring you joy. I guess it's important to note at this point, there are different manifestations of these types of experiences. So this lack of motivation could also be, and I'm not a doctor, I'm not a healthcare practitioner, could be anxiety or depression or many other things. This is something you definitely want to go and talk to your GP or family doctor about. We are talking in general terms of the experience as it specifically relates to autistic inertia. Okay, I guess. But what causes autistic inertia? Well, bottom line is autistic inertia can be caused or triggered in various ways and for various reasons, including sensory overload, difficulties with executive function, that's a big one for autistic people, and mental health issues like depression or anxiety. So in essence, autistic inertia can be caused by the same triggers that can trigger autistic people to experience other things we don't want to experience, we want to avoid, like meltdowns and shutdowns and outbursts and overstimulation and behaviors that aren't acceptable and things that are uncontrollable, but you can't do that here, or the worst case scenario, autistic burnout. So they're triggered by the same things that trigger us in every other way, which makes sense, right? If you have lost your energy from masking and being triggered, then you're clearly going to be an object at rest. And as we know from the law, an object at rest will stay at rest unless acted upon by an external force, which I guess are strategies which I'll give you before the end of this video. It's really important that this sinks in. Autistic inertia is not a sign of laziness or lack of ability, even lack of want or desire. It's a manifestation of autism, a symptom or manifestation of a medically diagnosed disability or condition. Your call. So we've discussed what is autistic inertia. We've touched on some of the root causes. How about just some basic generalized examples to hopefully paint a picture that might help you understand if you're still struggling to work out, sorry, what are you talking about? Let's do some examples to help clear the muddy water. We've established autistic inertia refers to this difficulty, this lack of ability or motivation to start tasks, to do things, to get going in one sense or the other. Struggling to initiate conversations. Struggling to initiate conversations with someone new. This could include having to call someone back, someone you don't know, but you've called them, they've returned your call, you've got to call them back, it's important, this needs to be sorted out or whatever. I hate that. I can find that super hard. I'll call someone, they don't answer, they call me back, but I don't want to take the call, and then I've got to call them back. I know I've got to, but I can't. I'm frozen. Difficulty transitioning from one task to another. Autistic inertia. Quick example on this is, I really wanted to record this video. I'm really passionate about this topic. I think it's a really interesting topic. I was really struggling to get going. Okay, I got myself going, and we'll talk about some strategies soon. But see, what will be a problem is when I finish recording this, when I push stop, I'm then going to have to transfer those files to a computer and edit them. Now that's an additional task, and I really want this video to be seen by you guys, and I want to do this stuff. But the transitioning from recording to the next bit is going to be hard. I know it's going to be hard. Another example of autistic inertia is the avoidance of new things, the avoidance of engaging in new experiences. Also, it could be a reluctance to leave a familiar or comfortable environment. So you might want to or need to go somewhere, but there's something holding you back. You lack any energy or will or motivation to leave where you are and go to where you need to go. You feel anchored, stuck. And again, this is basic inertia, right? If you're an object at rest, you're going to stay at rest. What's the other thing that's going to impact you and cause you to move? Well, these are strategies. We'll get to those soon. Hey, this is an interesting example of autistic inertia, an inability to stop repetitive behaviors. Yeah, so I literally mean an inability to stop engaging in repetitive behaviors. You're stuck in a cycle. And see, that's at rest, isn't it? If you're stuck doing a thing, you're stuck doing a thing. That's you at rest. For you to stop doing that thing, that repetitive behavior, and do something else, that would create a whole new level of motivation, energy you might not have, but you need. Autistic people are very much, including myself, and not everyone, but for the most part, reliant on plans and routine and sameness. A reluctance to change your plans or your schedule or routine is another example of autistic inertia. So what I'm saying is a resistance to changes in your plans or schedules is something that it's an example of autistic inertia, because you're at rest doing something, there's been a change to that, and therefore you've got to do something else. And that creates autistic inertia. So you resist that change. Sometimes autistic people can roll with it. We all have fluid care and support needs. Some days we can roll with it better than others. There's a change, okay, I think I can get through this. Other days, it's the biggest thing on the planet. These are daily fluid battles. If you're a parent or carer, teacher, support worker, whatever, of say an autistic child, you might not realize this, but another example of autistic inertia is struggling to start or complete homework or assignments. For parents or friends of autistic adults or employers, this doesn't change, just the words do. So this inability to start or complete work tasks. Now, this doesn't have to be in the office. You could be an autistic person in any environment. A teacher at a school, you might be in a daycare facility, you might be on a work site, you might be in a factory, you might be outside. You are going to have tasks you need to start and complete. And you are going to, at times, have autistic inertia, which is making it almost impossible for you, because you're an object at rest, doing a thing, impossible for you to switch to start new tasks and complete those tasks, regardless of your working or schooling environment. This particular example of autistic inertia might sound like an excuse, but it isn't. The avoidance of sports or general exercise, the avoidance of any physical activity, another form of autistic inertia. When you think about it though, it's not an excuse, because if we agree, and I'm telling you, autistic inertia is a legitimate thing experienced by autistic people, we're not being lazy, avoiding physical activity or exercises, because again, we're an object at rest. And that could be an object at rest specifically doing something, or an object at rest without the motivation or energy to do something. That's a massive leap to go from that object at rest to doing physical activity. If you base it on Newton's laws, we'd need something else to come whizzing in and push us out to the exercise strategies. We'll get to those in a sec. Autistic people aren't always massive with eye contact. It's fine with a camera because it's not a person. But if it was a person, like when I'm on Zooms and conferences, it's very different. But this difficulty engaging or maintaining eye contact is another example of autistic inertia. So not only initiating, but sustaining the eye contact. Because again, that is an additional task in a communication. That's an additional part, additional layer to an activity. And I guess the last example of autistic inertia, I'd say, is a reluctance to try new foods or tastes. Again, a sensory thing for autistic people. I've done videos and podcasts on eating stuff. But again, this is a great example. Look, if you are feeling or experiencing autistic inertia, and you just simply don't have that ability, that motivation, that energy to do what you might usually do, then you are going to find it very hard to go from comfortable foods, foods you like, foods you feel like, to new foods or new tastes or unexpected foods. And broadly speaking, the last example I want to give is in a social and also, I guess, an occupational or a professional context. In social situations, autistic inertia can make it really hard to initiate or participate in social interactions, social communication. Autistic inertia can make it hard to make friends, to engage in social activities, leisure activities. So autistic inertia is actually pretty damaging to your social life. The ability to go and do social events, to engage in social activities, to make friends, to do things. The ability to do that is really important to the quality of life of most people, certainly neurotypical people. Me, not so much. Like we've talked about in the occupational or workplace scenario, autistic inertia, which I think is probably a big thing, can make it super hard to complete tasks, to complete workplace activities and tasks and duties and responsibilities, to adhere to and meet deadlines for those tasks. And this is probably the most important thing, autistic inertia can make it just about impossible to advance your career. It can make it just about impossible to get a job and keep a job, let alone play all the stupid games, all the utter rubbish, all the complete lying and masking and fakeness required to even get close to advancing your career. The moment you've all been waiting for, my friends, key strategies to help you manage autistic inertia in your daily life. Let's start off with breaking tasks into smaller, manageable steps. Firstly, by breaking them down into smaller, more manageable steps, it makes it easier to get started. You're not as overwhelmed. Focus on one task at a time. What? You can focus on one task at a time? What? Are you saying that I shouldn't be recording a YouTube video while watching something on my phone and writing down notes for some comedy that came to my head halfway through? What? But that's multitasking. Yeah, didn't you hear? No, multitasking doesn't exist. It's not possible. I think you're referring to task switching. Yeah, sure, you can switch tasks, but you can't multitask. That's the same thing, switch task, no, it's not. Okay, cool. By breaking them down into small, manageable steps and focusing on one task at a time, hopefully, it will increase your sense of progress and accomplishment. Another key strategy is to use visual aids, such as schedules, calendars, checklists, or if it's more appropriate for the autistic child in your life, social stories. Visual aids, super powerful. So having a visual reminder of your tasks and goals can really help you stay organized, on track, focused, and motivated. Try to focus on incorporating more routine and structure into your daily activities. Another great way to manage autistic inertia. Why? Well, I think when you do that, it actually creates an environment where the autistic person in your life, or you, simply feel more secure, more comfortable. When you feel comfortable, when you feel secure, well, you're going to be more productive. How about this one? Set realistic and specific goals. I'm not going to do that, Orion. No one sets goals. Dear diary, I wish to. No, I don't mean like, those self-help books tell you, like at the start of the year, write down your goals, write down 10 goals every day. 10 years later, it's like, oh crap, it's still me. Or maybe they were just plain stupidly unrealistic and not very specific. Realistic, specific goals. Set them. Not only does that help you focus on what you actually want to achieve specifically and realistically, it increases your sense of accomplishment and confidence when you actually realize them, when you actually achieve them, because they're realistic and specific. I'm going to have 100,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Huh? Actually, I'm going to commit to making one video a week. Man, I feel good. I literally make a video a week, sometimes two. I'm awesome. Realistic and specific. Building on that, another key strategy is using positive reinforcement and rewards. This works for you as an autistic person or for parents, carers, partners, friends, and whoever else of autistic people in their life. I'm going to personalize this, but you can switch this if you're a parent or carer. This could be something as simple as allowing myself to watch my favorite TV show. But obviously I'm talking about in the context of a reward or incentive. When I can complete this task, I'm going to watch my favorite TV show for an hour, going to do nothing else. Sometimes I treat myself to my favorite food. If I can get this video done, I reckon I'm going to go down the street and grab myself my favorite snack, or my favorite lunch, or my favorite drink. You see what I'm saying? When you treat yourself to something really simple, just let's do this one step and then watch our favorite show. Let's do this one step and have a nice snack. These are simple, but they actually work. Personally, I think it can help motivation and engagement, and it's just as powerful for kids as adults. Parents and carers of autistic kids, you're obsessed about the whole screen time, and neurotypical people say we should not have screen time, you are kids. And seriously, if you can get your autistic child to complete one step or one task or one thing that's important to them, and they're struggling to do it, and they can do it based on the premise that they get to have some screen time after that step, and that means they've gone over their time limit for the day. Who cares? Do you know what's going on inside their brain? Don't deny them things that are going to help them. Certainly, if it's going to help everyone, allow them to achieve what they need to achieve. Oh man, this is a strange one potentially, but another key strategy is really to expose yourself or the autistic person in your life to new things. Gradually though, to gradually expose the autistic person in your life to new things, to new experiences, to new activities. Encouraging physical exercise or physical activity is also another key strategy. And remember, that means you are that external force. There's an object at rest, it's going to stay at rest, but then there's an external force coming its way. Bit of exercise, bit of fresh air, it can really help not only get them moving, but motivate that autistic person to continue. And to manage, at least, not to stop potentially, but to manage the severity of autistic inertia. Offering choice and control over activities, no duh, hello, that helps anxiety, that takes away all the things that are sucking away from us, that are triggering us. So yeah, control. This is the thing, people say autistic people can be so controlling, they're like managing everything. Hello, what do you think that is for? Do you think that's because we want to be? When you're riddled with anxiety and living a life of zero acceptance, controlling the controllables are things that will actually make you feel better. Offer choices. That's control. This task, that task. This activity, that activity. For autistic people, this is something you might not expect, but I'm going to say it. Use the social and emotional supports of your friends, families, and peers. Potentially even a therapist, a psychologist. The simple act of talking to your family, at least in my experience, provide some level of comfort and encouragement. Incorporating some type of leisure or play, any type of play, doesn't mean outside, any type of leisure or play that you like into your daily activities, your daily schedule can definitely help you manage autistic inertia. Don't ever forget to play. I don't care who you are watching this video, if you've forgotten to play during the day at some point, you've forgotten to live. And I guess that rolls on to the next key strategy, practice self-care. Take breaks. Who cares how many breaks you take? Take breaks. Do activities that bring you joy. Now, I know we talk about autistic inertia stops you from doing activities that bring you joy, but not always every one of them. There's always going to be something, that external force that, ooh, that would be good. Once you get going, by the way, you're in motion. I think it's a given if you take care of your physical and mental well-being, well, it's obviously going to create a sense of health and well-being overall, which in general terms will increase your ability to function in the types of tasks and things you want to do, and I guess also ease some of the symptoms that trigger it in the first place. This key strategy for managing autistic inertia in your daily life may sound a little bit guru-like. It's not really. It's just about encouraging self-reflection. If you're a parent or carer of an autistic kid, or you're a partner or a friend of an autistic adult, or you're an autistic adult, I'm saying you should reflect more. Self-reflection. You know yourself better than anyone else. And if you don't, you're doing it wrong. Autistic inertia is not only real, but it can really be a significantly frustrating challenge. But as we've said, it's important to approach it with compassion and understanding. What do you reckon? Can you relate to the experiences of autistic inertia? I'd love to hear your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Plus, if you have another topic you'd like me to cover, well, please let me know. Comments below. And as always, if this video has resonated with you, I'd be delighted if you consider sharing it with your family and friends. Thank you so much for your support. I really do appreciate it. Don't forget to check out my video podcast channel, Orion Kelly Podcasts. And until my next video, thank you so much for your support. We'll talk soon.